All right, let's solve some things together. All right, so today we have some exercise problems and let's do it together. Here they are, okay? So we're just going to do the first one for right now and then I'll do the next one in another video. All right, and I'm going to solve it within my Leak Code Solutions within data structures. I'm actually just going to make a stacks learning exercise um, folder here, and this is going to be our exercise 1, so I'm just going to call it 1.py. All right, so we can get started. Okay, cool. So write a function in Python that can reverse a string using the stack data structure. Now, the stack data structure is basically a collection of items, kind of like a list, but it follows a specific pattern. And this pattern is known as last in, first out. Basically, what this means is that the last item to be added in is the first one that'll be deleted. All right. So a better way to think of this is a stack of plates. All right. So let me use a whiteboard to actually kind of show this, right? I like this one. Okay. So pretend you have, oops, it's a little too big. All right. So pretend you have a stack of plates. All right. These stack of plates are like trembling, but whatever. We don't care about that. So you have this stack of plate, right? Within a stack, what happens is when you want to delete an item, right? So you want to delete an item, what it will do is it will take the most recent item that you added in, right? In this case, it would be this plate over here, and it would delete that plate. All right. So basically, what it means is last in, first out means that the most recent item that you add in will be the first one to be destroyed within a deleting process. All right. So, anyways, we have this function we have to create, which is the reverse underscore string function, and we have to use the stack class method, or sorry, stack class, I guess, from the tutorial. So the code for that is here. All right. Here it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this until we have our stack and then we can create an object from that, right? So this is going into a little bit of object-oriented principles, right? A class basically is the blueprint for your object. It includes all the attributes, variables, and methods, functions within your object, and then you can just create an instance of that class, which is known as an object, right? Which will have all those attributes and variables. Sorry, attributes and methods. Okay, let's go ahead and start this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function, which I'm going to call reverse underscore string, and that's going to have a text, let's say, parameter, and there we go. So now we have that parameter, and so what this is doing is it's saying we will conquer COVID-19, and then it's giving us it back in a the opposite way. It's reversing it, right? So hmm, so we will. I'm just gonna use we will because I want to try to do this myself, and doing it for the whole thing is gonna take a little while. So we will. I can take each and every one of these items and characters and add them in as separate entities within my stack, which I actually have to create. I'll call it stack, and that's just gonna be a stack. Gonna be new stack to create object. Mm, Okay, I was correct. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so that's JavaScript. Okay, there we go. So we've created our stack now, and then we can use these functions. So if you look at my notes, I actually do talk about this a little bit. So you can see here that I talk about the different methods within the stack. So you have your push, pop, and peek. And these methods you can see are in here: push, pop, and peek. So pop will delete the most recent item that you create. Push will add a new item, and that'll be your most recent item. And then peek, you can look at the most recent item, as you can see through the -1 indexing, right? That will get the last item within a list. Okay, so we now have this tag and we have access to these different methods. So let's go ahead and start this out. All right. So what I'm thinking here is that I'm using we will as an example, and I'm thinking of adding each and every character as a um, as a separate entity. And then what I can do is once I added all these together, I can peek at them, right, which will return the last item, and I can actually add that as the first item in a new reverse string, right? So I can have a reversed. I'll call it reverse. And I'll just keep that as a string, right? So what I can do is for each character in text, what I will do is I'll add it to the stack. So we can do stack.append and character. And then what I'm going to do is once this is done, I'm going to say for each item in so here's where it gets a little bit interesting. Oh, so we have a size. So maybe I can use the size as just like a reference point. So what I'm thinking of doing here is I added all of the characters within text to the stack, right? So now I have each and every single character as one entity within the stack. So it kind of looks like this if I was to like visualize it. Tutorial. Right, so it looks like this. So pretend this is our stack, right? And I'm using the same thing as we will. So we will have, it'll be like this. Oops. So as you can see, each and every letter or character within these words is its own separate entity, and then they're added to the stack. And remember, it's last in, first out. So we can get the last character here, and we can add it to our reverse thing. So we can add it here to our reverse, and then we can pop it. So destroy that, and then move on to the next one, right? Or sorry, that's the L, right? And then destroy that, then we move to the next one. So we're iterating, and we're iterating at the size of the stack, which we can see is already a method within our class. So what I'll say is for underscore, because this is going to be, we don't need any iterable variables in here, in range, because the size is a number, length returns a number, and so then what we're going to do is we're going to say stack dot size, and so this is going to return the length of the container itself, which is our stack. All right, and there we go. So now what we can do is within here, um, what we will do is we'll first peek and get that last character, because peek gets the last character, and remember, we're reversing it. So the last character will become the first character, because that's what reverse is. We're essentially flipping the last character, and you can see it kind of worked in this like sample execution, right? Like if I were to keep going, this is peek will get this character first, then this character, then this character, because then I'll pop it. So the last item becomes the second last item. And so then if we're over here in our execution, I would add this, again, pop it. So then this is the last item, add this. And you can see that will has become, oops, that should be on this screen. Sorry about that. Yeah, so as you can see, will has been reversed, right? Because its characters have switched positions, right? And then obviously this would keep going on and on and on and on and on. Okay, Cool. So there we go. Now we have some sort of a solution. This is why I really advocate for trying to draw out your solution. I actually have some pieces of paper where I'm actually like doing this out, but I wanted you to see it, so that's why I kind of use the whiteboard. But yeah, so now that I kind of understand the logic of my brain kind of knows the logic by actually drawing it out. Let me actually translate it into code, right? So again, we have the a size, right? Because remember, the iterations should work for the size of the stack. What we will do is we will peek at the stack. So I'll say new character, and that's going to be stack dot p, and that will return the last item. And so then what we will do is we'll say reverse dot append, or plus equals, sorry, because it's not append, it's not a list. So then we'll say plus equals and then the new character, and then stack dot pop. So this way it removes this new character because we already added it to our reverse. So then we can move on because it cancels it out. We can move on to the second last item, which has become now the last item. Because remember, the current last item, I destroyed it. It's gone. All right. There we go. And then at the end, since this is a function, I want to return, not print, right? I want to return, so then it's more usable, because then this value will just return, sorry, this function will return a value instead of just printing it, because printing has very limited use cases. So we're going to return at the end of this execution the reverse string. And so in our case, we do want to print it. So we'll print reverse, and then we want to add in our I'll just do we will for now. We will. And I just need to set up a GitHub code space here. I already have one running, I believe. Okay. There we go. And so that way I can just run this code and we can figure out if this is correct. All right. So let's just connect and then we're good to go. But yeah, that'll be it. That's how we would reverse the string. I kind of give a little visualization here. This is exactly what I wrote on my paper. I just kind of wrote it on whiteboard too, so you can see it. And yeah, okay. There we go. So what I'm gonna do is so I'm gonna just cd into stack into learnings. CD into data structure, CD into stats, learning exercise. Right, I need to just make sure that there's an underscore here, so that it's just one entity. There we go. Underscore. There we go, and then I'm gonna do Python 3 1.py. Sorry, it should be reverse underscore string. I just realized because the function's name is like so. Okay, so DQ is actually a yeah, I just realized. So if I go into code here, I actually need to import DQ, which is being used as like the container. So there we go. So now it should work because we're importing it. I just realized that. And it doesn't have append, it's push. That's my bad, because remember, we're using push. Okay. There you go. As you can see, it did exactly what we wanted it to do, right? So let me take the full thing, and let's try this out. Maybe there's something that we haven't done properly. Maybe our logic is a little flawed, but it isn't. As you can see, it worked properly. This is exactly what we wanted. So here, I will take this. This is the what should be returned. I'll put it in here as a comment. And you can see This is what was returned. See? The same exact thing. All right, so that is it for me, and that was question one within this data structure algorithms exercise. All right, and this was stacks. Remember, it is last in, first out pattern. So if you need to think critically, and you need to think if your program would benefit from such a design where the last thing would be accessed and destroyed, right? So if you're going to be referencing a lot to the most recent item added into a list of items, or the last item, both are the same thing, synonyms of each other. If you're going to do that a lot, then stacks is going to be your best friend. All right, that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.